Hello, your girl Joy Gihana. One more time. I'm excited. It's always a pleasure to come and hang out with you. And today's edition is special edition. It is Valentine's Day. We are in the love mod. So there's no better way of, spending your Valentine than to join me in trying to explore how can we rekindle our love for each other, how can we feel a little bit more connected with our loved ones, how can we build healthy and happy thriving relationships. Yes, we can. So before we delve into that, in my hometown it's quite cold. It is snowy, like I'm looking out in the window and it's literally snowing. And what I like to do, some of the things that I like to do on days such as this is sip on some tea. That feels really good. I love me some tea. My best flavor is ginger, and I don't know how many cups I drink on a good winter day. But back to our topic. So, yes, today's topic, you heard me well. We are going to delve into why it is important to build healthy, thriving relationships, happy relationships with our intimate partners. Now, in our previous episodes, we've explored how to build a relationship with yourself because that really, really matters and it sets the tone of all the other relationships that you are ever going to have. This one inclusive, the relationship with your intimate partner will be influenced by the relationship you have with yourself. We also talked about, relationships with our adult kids and our parents and all that. But today's edition, like I said, it is a special one. So, why is it really important? Why is it important to build a relationship, healthy relationships with our intimate partners? Is it even possible? Now, I want to take you back memory lane for those that have stayed in their intimate relationships for a while. When you first fell in love, the excitement that comes with, falling in love and looking forward to you see your partner and all that. That can be relieved. And where does that? Why is it so that when you first met your love or your loved one, it is that exciting. Part of why that it is that exciting is because you're looking forward to know more about your partner. You can't wait to know about what excites them, what annoys them, what some of their best childhood memories and all that. And so that anticipation of learning more about your partner keeps you on your toes. And so likewise, when we get into the how we can rekindle that excitement, we will touch a little bit about that. But before we get there, I'm so big on the why. I like to explore the why before we get into the how, because I think the why puts perspective on brings perspective to us. So why is it important to build these relationships, healthy relationships? Is it even possible? Yes, it is. So John Gottman, one of my favorite relationship gurus, he gives us some statistics in one of his books, The 7 Principles of Making a Marriage Work. He says that unhappy intimate relationships can increase one's chances of getting sick by roughly 35%. That is a big percentage. And he goes ahead and said, on the flip side, couples that are in happy, thriving relationships will live happier and healthier, longer and healthier lives than the ones that either have divorced or that the ones that have lived in that are experiencing hostility and toxicity in their relationships. Now, part of the reason why that is true is because people in unhappy relationships will experience a lot of stress, which may end up affecting them both physically and mentally. And this may start to manifest itself through physical and mental health ailments, such as, high blood pressures, heart diseases, depression, thoughts of hurting themselves, or suicidal thoughts, addictions and substance abuse and all that. So that is why. So that is, that's a very good reason. That's a very good reason why healthy relationships are really, important. Now, another reason is that, when stress is happening in a relationship, in a home, it does not only, the stress is not limited to just the adults in that relationship. If that relationship has kids involved, those kids are bound to be victims as well. Again, Gottman, shares with us a study that was conducted on 63 preschoolers, and this study went on for the next 15 years. So they conducted this study for a long time, and when these preschoolers had started to grow and turned into teenagers, the findings in the study reflect that these teenagers were experiencing behavior issues. They were aggressive. They were experiencing peer rejection, and they had low grades, because, as you may all know, that when you have stressors in your life, that may affect your level of functionality. Now, this study confirms the fact that it is not a great idea to get stuck in a marriage or in a relationship for the sake, especially when it is toxic, for the sake of the children. Because, the study just confirmed that, the kids will be affected as much as, if they were maybe going through even a divorce, right? So, all to say that it is really important that we find ways of building these healthy relationships. Okay, so now that we're done the why, I'm inviting you to come with me and we explore the how. So how do we go about this? Now, again, first of all, and I say again because I do not know an episode that I've not emphasized how important it is to build a healthy, thriving, connected relationship with yourself, because it sets the tone. It sets the standard of all the other relationships that you will experience. When you are connected with yourself, you are aware of what triggers you. You are aware of what you stand for, what you represent. You are aware, and you are then in position to communicate that to your partner. Remember, your partner is not a mind reader. They do not know what works for you and that what does not. And how are you going to be able to communicate that, that important piece of information if you don't know it yourself? So that is why it is really important to do the work. Also, it helps you to build healthy boundaries and set those boundaries. But again, how are you going to be able to set those boundaries if you don't know them, if you cannot be able to identify what those boundaries are? Because our boundaries really base on our values, the things that are important to us, right? So in the boundary setting process, again, understanding who you are, being aware of what triggers you, being aware of your thought processes and how that interacts with how you feel and how you behave is really key. Another strategy that you can use now that now that I've reminded you of how important it is to build that relationship with yourself, another strategy that can be used is to really deepen our love maps. What do I mean by that? I'll give you a story. I like to story tell. So, a couple of years ago, I think 3 years ago, I got an opportunity to go back home. So, I am originally from Rwanda in Africa, and I had left in 2009, and since then I had never gotten a chance to go back. So in 2017 I went back for the first time after those so many years. When I went back, a lot had changed in my hometown. There was new roads, there was new infrastructure, a lot of development had happened infrastructure wise. So for me to get around my hometown, I literally had to have friends or family or even use the GPS to get me around, because I did not know where to go. I needed guidance, I needed a map to take me around. Now, likewise in our relationships, we when we first met, remember I talked about the excitement that comes with falling in love. When you first meet your loved one, it's such an you can even read the excitement on my face. It is quite exciting. I vividly remember, the first time I fell in love with my husband. It was such an exciting moment. I remember there's no day in our dating times. We dated for quite some time. Every day from the time we decided that we are exclusive, we literally met every day of the week. You can imagine, every single day of the week. So that's how exciting it can be. So, and I had shared that the reason why it is actually exciting is because we are looking forward to know more about who this person is. What do they stand for? What do they represent? What excites them? What annoys them? What are some of the best memories, of their childhood and their life experiences and all that. And so, but as time goes by, the excitement wears off. We stop to be curious. We lay back. We almost like do not care anymore. We're just existing. We're not thriving, right? So if we want to rekindle that, that excitement, if we want to really feel and stay in love with our partners, we really, really need to take time to be intentional on building, on building those love maps, on knowing more about who our loved ones are. Now, the woman I was 12 years ago, I've been married for 12 years, but the woman that I was 12 years ago has evolved, has changed. A lot has changed between these 2 years. In the last 12 years. So imagine if my husband is stuck with, the joy that they met 12 years ago, right? That's not realistic. It is not at all. So in order for us to continue growing together and to continue for our love to grow deeper, we need to really, we really need to stay updated with who our loved ones are. How do we do that? Having conversations, really using open-ended questions to ask a simple question such as, who is your best friend? Because maybe my best friend 12 years ago is no longer my best friend now. What is your favorite meal? What excites you? Do you have any plans, any goals? Where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? Conversations such as those will spark even deeper conversation, and hence will make us feel more connected.